And what is it about this project that you want to be involved as a producer?
I was actually working with my longtime producer partner, and it was her first feature as a director. So that was a great opportunity for us to sort of switch roles. And I thought it was great as two women to tell a story that's actually not a traditional female story. It's a father-son story, and I just thought it was a great opportunity for to show that like women don't have to only tell women's stories. Like women can tell any story.
Jim Gaffigan is one of the funniest people on earth, one of my favorite comedians. What made you guys decide that he's the right guy for this role, dramatic role?
Jim is so likable, and I think that was really important to us to find because the character could be definitely seen as unlikable. So it was great to find somebody that just like naturally you can't help but like. And it's funny because in real life, Jim has more children than he does in a story about where he has two families.
But in the likes of like Robin Williams, Steve Carell, these funny people, they're trying to be dramatic, and they actually did it.
Yeah,
so Jim has a
pull it off. Absolutely, I think that sometimes, like as a comedian, you can actually see more levels. You can see the tragedy and like the comedy and tragedy, and it's great to work with comedians. I've worked with multiple comedians, and it's always a great experience.
Congratulations on the film.
Thank you, Rama.
All right, so Jim Gaffigan, one of the funniest people on earth. I take it.
Oh, that guy? Yeah, I mean, looks aren't everything, so.
I take it in between takes. He tries to crack you guys up on the set, but when you say action, boom, is that the dramatic part takes over?
When he's not napping, he is on point.
So exactly, why did you cast him in this role?
I cast him in this role because it's hard not to like him.
Yeah.
And I wanted to explore what it's like to have a character that is doing something bad, but at the end you're like, but I still kind of like him. And what does that do to us on the inside, especially in an era right now where we're having a hard time with anyone going outside the bounds. I don't know. This isn't really working out because I'm not condoning his behavior. His behavior is horrible, but I wanted it to be a complex situation and not just like black and white. I wanted to explore the gray.
How did Jim do?
He was all right. No, he's amazing. Are you kidding? Like, I love working with him, and we'll work together hopefully many more times. So we have a lot of fun together.
I'm gonna ask you this. This actually happens out there in the real world. Like, what motivates some people to have secret lives like this?
So we set this in the 1990s. The script was originally in like modern day, and I was like, it's really hard to get away with having two families. It's probably relatively simple to have side whatevers, but not necessarily like an actual family. Like he has two families, and there are men out there. It's easier for men to do this than women because they don't carry pregnancies, to be able to say I'm a part of two different families. And it was really fascinating kind of researching this and finding out these stories, but most of them were caught from social media. So this takes place in the 90s, which is when I was the lead character, Logan Miller's age, when my parents got divorced. And so I was able to kind of bring out a lot of my own kind of angst and stuff that I went through with this movie.
Oh, having grown up in the 90s, any pop culture references? Any Tamagotchi?
Oh my God, yes, you should see the movie. Are you kidding me? I mean, we've got Devo. We've got... No, we've got, yes. I mean, there's a phone, an actual rotary phone, and there's not computers. Yes, of course. It's like, it's everything that it was in the 90s, and the clothing is amazing. So, and some of the set design is fantastic. It's really a lot of fun. I actually miss the 90s a lot now. I kept many of the wardrobe pieces that Samantha Mathis wore. Yeah.
So. Now, before I let you go, LA Film Festival celebrating independent cinema. Having gone through the experience of making this film, what advice do you have for filmmakers out there independently making a film?
Well, it's funny because I would just say, like, fail. Like, go, be willing to fail, put yourself out there, and, you just kind of keep going. You just kind of keep going. And eventually you'll have failed enough that you either succeed or you're old. So, and go do it.
But budget is always a problem, right? Budget?
Well, budget and time are always a problem. And I think from this movie, which was, small, to Wonder Woman, it's like, there's always not enough money and not enough time. And it's all about like the creativity to make it work within that.
Congratulations on the film.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks.
So, for my fans, what is your role? What do you play?
My role is Kelly. I play the daughter of Jim Gaffigan and the sister of Logan Miller. I fall in love with Logan's character, and I do not realize, obviously, that he is my brother. Yeah.
Right, two families, right? You're from one of the families.
Yes. Yes.
What was that like working with Logan, one of my favorite rising stars?
It was fun. He's always cracking jokes, and he has a really great sense of humor. So does Jim. Yeah. It was.
Have you seen him in Love Simon?
I have. Yeah, I have.
He was good in that.
Yeah, also Down by the River, which was a great film as well. Yeah.
That's right. So Jim Gaffigan is one of the funniest people on the planet. This is a dramatic role. How did he do, in your opinion?
I think he did a really great job. I mean, juggling the drama and also the comedy of this role is a on-taking, and I think all of the characters did a really good job considering everything. Yeah.
Nice. What is your take on the fact that these things actually happen in real life? There are people out there that have secret lives like this.
I think it was a lot easier in the 90s. I think that now it would be really hard. Like, you'd have to really be able to, I don't know.
Avoid social media?
Avoid social media, and your whole family avoids social media. I think it would be very difficult now. You'd have to sort of be living off the grid, away from society to do that now. But I'm sure in the past that did happen, and that's absurd. I hope that those families are okay.
What do you hope the audience will take away from your character? Like, research somebody before you kiss him first?
Yeah. Yes. And Love is Blind. Love is Blind. Yeah.
Congratulations on the film.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So for my fans, what's your role? What do you play?
I play Lewis. I'm the best friend to the lead in the film, played by Logan Miller. And I am basically, I encourage him to go to the nearby lake town. It's our senior year in high school. It's our spring break. And we go up there and we find out that his dad, played by Jim Gaffigan right over there, has a second family. So we're up there, and it kind of derails our fun spring break. And I kind of get brought along for more shenanigans that I would like to be brought along for.
Now, Jim is one of my favorite funny people on earth.
It's funny.
Yeah, so how did you keep a straight face during production?
Oh, man, it was hard. It was hard. Let me tell you. Whenever we were off camera, it was just constant giggles all the time.
It's a dramatic role.
I know. Off camera. On camera, we were in it, right?
Yeah.
We were focused. But off camera, straight jokes.
So, what is your take or opinion on the fact that these things actually happen out there in the real world? People who have secret lives with two families.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. It's too much to juggle.
I mean, look, it's complicated in this situation in the film. You kind of realize, I hope, that the decision for Jim's character was harder than it may seem to be on paper. But in real life, sometimes the decisions are hard too. But in general, my advice to the general public, try not, as hard as you can, try not to have a second family. That's what I would say.
One is heavy enough.
One's enough. One's plenty.
Here we are.
Hey, so after Chappaquiddick and now this, what is it? What motivated you to want to flex your dramatic muscles?
Well, I mean, I love to act. It really comes down to finally getting an opportunity to have some of these larger roles. And you know, I met with Miranda, and she was great. So it really comes down to the individual project and the appeal of that project.
What's it like working with one of my favorite rising stars, Logan?
Logan's amazing. He's great. A lot of people don't know he's actually 84 years old. He has kind of a maturity and an immaturity, which is what makes him so appealing, I suppose.
Now, this actually happens in real life. Like, what motivates people to have two families? What's the reason behind that?
I know. Well, that's why you got to see the movie, right? Because is there any justification for it? No, but is there possibly an explanation? Maybe. So that's why the movie's important.
Before I let you go, when is your next comedy tour?
I'm always touring.
Oh.
I'm always touring. JimGaffigan.com. Check it out.